Welcome to a new practice of the week. This week I'd like to share with you a practice where we use tennis balls and we're going to give our body a bit of a massage. Today I'm just focusing on using the balls to give a bit of a massage. In yoga therapy we do the same, but then we take the space that we've created into movement so that when you create more mobility in your body by releasing tension with tennis balls, you can also use that mobility that you've created so that it doesn't just become a massage, which is great and which is very helpful, but to actually do something with that and improve your movement in that way. But for today, we're just going to explore some different ways of using tennis balls on our bodies to release tension. There's lots of ways to do it, but I'll just focus on a few. So first, we'll just stand up, and I will cut off my face by standing up. So I'm just gonna just have a moment to feel our bodies as we're standing, how they are now, how your body's feeling, how your breath is feeling, how your mind is doing. Just notice what you can notice. Nothing's wrong, nothing's perfect, or everything's perfect, but just kind of, it depends on how you look at it. Just notice what you can notice. And then from there, we'll take one tennis ball, you can place it on the floor, and we'll start with rolling the feet. Do one foot at a time. And we'll do that not by pressing so much the foot down, but more by placing the foot on the ball. So now I have all my weight in here, and then just give weight by leaning into it. And in that way you can also make movement, which gives you the power to kind of choose how much pressure you want to give. Makes the movement slower, or it can make the movement because you can do it pretty quick. But if you work with your body weight, it usually goes a bit slower. And you can roll out your foot and use movement as you place your foot. You roll forward, lift up your toes, so that you kind of work out all the muscles in the sole of your foot that can have tension. And don't forget the arch of your foot, which can have some sensitive points. So as you can see, I'm giving a bit less weight because I have some sensitive points there. And you can also place your heel on the ground and just kind of lean in into different points on the sole of your foot. Just kind of notice when you place your toes on the ground and just kind of lean in like this. Notice whether your standing leg is super stretched or whether it can just be straight. Also not like super bent, but finding that responsiveness within the leg. And then release, and just notice for a moment the difference between one foot and the other. And does that relate to something else that you can sense in your body right now? And then we'll switch sides. So again, you lean in with your body weight and roll out your foot. So you are in charge of how much pressure you want to give, and just kind of see if you can play around in places where you can feel relaxed, where you don't create extra tension, where your jaw can be soft, your belly can be soft. You can just breathe and you're not suffering. Don't forget the arch, noticing that on this side as well. There's some sensitivity there for me. And then just finding some spots to press into. And then letting that go again. And just, again, sensing your feet. And then from there, tilt the screen a bit, go back to the mat, and then take my 2 tennis balls, and we'll move up towards the butt. We'll first do the butt in this way. If lying down is too much, you can also use the tennis balls against the wall. That will allow you to kind of, again, choose the pressure you want to give, and not have your full weight going down on tennis balls. And then just kind of explore all the soft tissue of your butt. So not so much the bone, the sacrum, the hard bit in the middle, but more the fleshy parts where you can just kind of feel that you can sink into. Some areas might be really great and soft, and some areas might not be so much of that. So again, notice if you're breathing, if you're holding your breath. Move slow with attention. I'm moving my waist now a bit to kind of rotate my pelvis from side to side. You can open and close your legs a bit. So again, it's not just passive massage, but there is some movement that we put in here. So what I said in the beginning isn't entirely true. We are adding some movement. Like we could do just this to kind of roll it out, but if we move these muscles, oh, I now found a spot that kind of radiates right here. Then if we invite the movement as we bring the pressure, and we keep breathing and don't hold it, then that will help us to integrate that mobility that we create. So I'm now kind of rolling and moving around the top of the sitting bones bit, moving it a bit out to the side. So now my sacrum is on the ground, but I still have the pressure on the balls on the sides of the hips, or the sides of the butt actually. And just really kind of looking around for areas that can do with a little bit of love and movement. So notice if you can keep relaxing your belly, you can expand your ribs as you're breathing. You can relax your jaw. Notice if your jaw or your face wants to frown, your jaw wants to clench, your shoulders want to do something. And from there, just remove the balls for a second and just feel the aliveness in your butt, or the movement, or the after effect, whichever way you want to call it. Just sense what you can sense. And then from there, we'll go to the side of our hip. So you can lean on your lower arm, bring the ball to the hip. So if the hip bone is kind of here, you go just in the fleshy bit. And you can do that, let me show my whole leg, in a way where you kind of roll your lower leg as you give pressure to certain areas. You can elevate it a bit. And again, notice if you're rolling your leg, which, you know, this is more like the passive massage way, or you're moving your leg bone in your pelvis and your pelvis stays quiet, and you're really kind of inviting movement in the muscles below the tennis ball because you're moving the leg. And this is kind of finding support, maybe going a bit to the front. This is really like the side of the hip. It's really like this bit, which can be sensitive. So notice whether you're still breathing. For me, when I move my leg like this, turning it inwards, that's a bit sensitive. And then switch sides. So again, it's like gentle movement, feeling the pressure. And again, this you can also do against the wall. And then inviting movement into that leg. And notice that I wanted to turn my leg, and I did that by turning my ankle, which is not the same as turning my leg. You can see here that my leg is now moving. And if I just do this, then I have the idea that something is moving, but it's not. So it's interesting how we can kind of trick our mind into thinking that we're moving something that we're just not moving. And just keep breathing. Releasing the jaw, if the jaw is a place where you hold tension. Inviting space into the ribs, movement into the ribs as you breathe. If that's something that you tend to forget. So it's just becoming aware of your patterns. When there's tension in your body, where does it go? Where do you place it? How can you change that? And you don't have to force to change it, but just bringing awareness to the patterns that you have and what you're doing will already help to change them, to improve them. And then let that go. And then come and lie back on your back and take a moment again to sense your body and your breath. Notice how your hips feel. And then again, we'll move up a bit. We'll go to the chest. I won't do tennis balls across the spine, which I will do in another video, because that is a whole practice on its own, because the spine's pretty long and there's lots of points there. But I will now focus on just below, like the collarbones that are here. this one you can see better, just below the collarbones. Again, you can do this against the wall, but I'm gonna do it on the floor. So the tennis balls are here, like around the chest, below the collarbones. And again, it's just bringing pressure. You can play with arm movement, inviting the breath into the ribs, expanding the ribs as you breathe. And again, making movement with the arms, turning them, and then all the way. So it's not just the lower arm that's turning, but it's the whole shoulder blade even. You can see movement on my upper back that is moving. Because the chest and the upper back are connected. Just find some areas that you want to play with. Move the arms up. Find another area. You can also just move from side to side to just give it that like actual massaging thing. And this, if you tend to have like neck and shoulder tension, this is a great place to start. And I will show you in a bit why after I've done the movement with the balls. Keep breathing. I'm saying that to you, but it's definitely also a reminder to myself. It's always interesting, like the things I tell my clients and my students are the things that I definitely need to practice as well. And I mean that's how you learn, no? By sensing what's happening in your body, knowing the theory, but also having the actual lived experience. It's easy to know the theory and be able to say it, but actually apply it to what you're doing. Whether you're a teacher or a student, it's a different thing. Embodying, sensing what you're doing and how you're doing it is something different than knowing what you have to do and forcing it. And then remove the balls, come back, lie on your back, and take a moment to feel. And I'll explain in the meantime why the chest is interesting. Because all the time we work like this, we feel the pulling of the muscles in the back because they're kind of trying to hold everything together. This is one of the reasons. There are many other reasons, but this is one of them. And with our shoulders rounding forward, this becomes short. And so to release some of the tension there, give space here and allows these muscles in the back to go back to where they should be instead of kind of holding on to trying to pull the shoulder blades back into place, but kind of losing it from these very powerful muscles in the chest. So if we can let this go, this will let go. We can work on letting this go, but if the chest muscles stay tight, the back muscles will not be able to let go because they're not so much short and tense. They're kind of more long and tense because they're kind of resisting the pull of the forces of the front of the body. So if we can relax these, then these don't have to stay so tense anymore. They will let go by themselves. One of the options. And yeah, those were the movements I wanted to share. Next time I'll do a video on, or at some other time, maybe not next week, but some other time, I'll do a video on how to play with the tennis balls with the spine, which is also very helpful and great. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like or follow my YouTube channel. If you know anyone who could benefit from the practices, please share them. And if you would like to dive deeper with private sessions, let me know. Or you can also join my online class every Tuesday evening. More information you can find on the website. Hope to see you again next time, and have an amazing week.